a significant portion of the news center tonight on President Park Geun-hye's address to the nation in Parliament. In a largely unusual move, the South Korean leader invited herself to the assembly floor for a special speech. She spent a good portion of her address calling for unity of the South Korean people in the wake of North Korea's latest provocations. North Korea got the most mention during her half-an-hour speech, followed by the people, which she vowed to safeguard, but nowhere to be seen or heard was the word dialogue. First, here's our top office correspondent, Song Ji-sun.
President Park said she has made a consistent effort to bring about change in North Korea in order to realize her vision for unification. In return, she said Pyongyang has responded only with aggression with its nuclear test last month and long-range missile launch just a month later. Saying that the Kim Jong-un regime is on a reckless run without brakes, she said North Korea has the potential to deploy a nuclear-tipped missile if there is no change in the current approach.
국민 여러분, 이제 기존의 방식과 선의로는 북한 정권의 핵개발 의지를 결코 꺾을 수 없고 북한의 핵 능력만 고도화시켜서 결국 한반도의 파국을 초래하게 될 것이라는 점이 명백해졌습니다. 이제 더 이상 북한의 기만과 위협에 끌려다닐 수는 없으며 과거처럼 북한의 도발에 굴복하여 퍼주기식 지원을 하는 일도 더 이상 해서는 안 될 일이라 생각합니다.
The president also said South Korea should be more proactive in working toward the goal of reigning in the north, making reference to her recent decision to close a jointly run factory park.
개성공단 전면 중단은 앞으로 우리가 국제사회와 함께 취해 나갈 재반 조치의 시작에 불과합니다. 지금부터 정부는 북한 정권이 핵 개발로는 생존할 수 없으며 오히려 체제 붕괴를 재촉할 뿐이라는 사실을 뼈저리게 깨닫고 스스로 변화할 수밖에 없는 환경을 만들기 위해 보다 강력하고 실효적인 조치들을 취해 나갈 것입니다.
President Park explained that the safety of the South Korean people was her first priority in deciding to close the complex. She said Seoul and Washington's recent announcement of talks on deploying the U.S.-led anti-ballistic missile system known as THAAD was also made with that priority in mind.
President Park has shifted away from her trust-building process as distrust has prevailed between the two Koreas over the past 3 years. The most important task for the administration now is managing the situation on the Korean Peninsula in a stable manner so that inter-Korean tensions do not get worse.
Calling on both lawmakers and the public to unite, President Park said the nation cannot survive if division stems from within, and there should be neither rivals nor internal aggression when the nation is facing a common crisis of national security. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
Also taking up a significant proportion of the president's address today was the economy. Now, in doing so, she also called on the nation's lawmakers to make national interest their priority and swiftly pass a number of key bills which directly affect the lives of the Korean people. Our Shin Se-min has this next report. Korea's rival political parties remain split on which parts of the president's speech they agreed or disagreed on. Our senior parliamentary correspondent Ji Myung-gil has the immediate reactions across the political aisle.
The ruling Saenuri Party praised President Park Geun-hye's parliamentary address for its strong warning to North Korea and her message of national unity for the South Korean people. The party also echoed the president's call to the parliament to do its job and pass pending bills.
Now it's time for the National Assembly to act. We must stop the parliamentary paralysis and send out hope to the people by passing key bills. Winning elections must not be our priority. Our priority should be ensuring the safety of the nation and the people.
The spokesperson said when it comes to national security, there cannot be any division between political parties, and he urged lawmakers to pass a pending counterterrorism bill and a bill on North Korea human rights. The counterterrorism legislation has been stalled due to a conflict over whether the National Intelligence Service should be allowed to investigate terrorist activity, based on concerns about the potential for an abuse of power. Lawmakers had agreed to pass the North Korea Human Rights Bill last month, but negotiations fell apart at the 11th hour over the way the bill was worded. The main opposition Minju Party of Korea criticized President Park for closing the Kaesong industrial complex without much consultation.
President Park Geun-hye shut down the Kaesong industrial complex as if she were conducting a military exercise. She didn't even tell the South Korean businesses on her sudden plans. If she had been more careful, they would have suffered fewer damages.
He said the suspension of the industrial park will result in a combined loss of at least $870 million for the South Korean firms with factories there. He added that government measures alone will not be enough to make up for the heavy losses the companies are expected to incur. The rival parties still have a long way to go before they'll be able to reach a compromise on the key bills the president mentioned in her address, including the counterterrorism bill and the one on North Korea's human rights. 심영길, 아리랑 뉴스.
So how do experts feel about President Park's televised address? Well, we spoke to one earlier today to get an analysis and insight into whether the president's message resonated with the Korean people. Kim Ji-yeon has more.
Decent, timely, and appropriate. These were the words Kim Jae-tom, professor of international studies at Seoul University, used to describe President Park Geun-hye's address to the National Assembly. He says her speech adequately counters recent criticisms that the South Korean government was out of line or acting emotionally when it suspended the Kaesong industrial complex or announced official talks on the deployment of a U.S.-led missile defense system to the peninsula.
By suspending operations at Kaesong, we could send a strong message to the international community that we are willing to do illicit cooperation from the international community. So I think it was the right time for President Park Geun-hye to step up and to explain to South Korean population public why it was necessary to suspend operations at Kaesong.
The professor also believes South Korea is warning Pyongyang that its bad behavior will not be condoned. Although President Park's speech is viewed as an address to the Korean public, Professor Kim Jae-tom thinks using the National Assembly was a strategic move to pressure lawmakers to pass not only counterterrorism and North Korea-related bills, but also those on labor reforms and economic revitalization.
Investigated stealth jets will fly the South Korean skies tomorrow as Washington continues to send its strategic assets to the Korean peninsula following North Korea's nuclear and long-range missile tests in the last couple of weeks. Connie Kim has more on efforts being made by the two allies to boost and show their rock-hard alliance.
4 F-22 stealth fighter jets will fly into South Korea on Wednesday as part of a show of force by the United States in response to North Korea's continued provocations on the peninsula. South Korean military officials said Tuesday the jets will depart from the U.S. and make their way to Osan Air Base in Pyeongtaek, Gyeonggi-do Province. The F-22 is one of a few radar-evading planes with an operational range of over 2,000 kilometers, making it capable of attacking the office of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un without being detected. This will be Washington's third deployment of strategic assets to the south. A B-52 bomber capable of hitting underground facilities in North Korea flew over South Korea last month following the North's nuclear test. The nuclear-powered submarine USS North Carolina came into Busan port Tuesday morning after taking part in a 3-day South Korea-U.S. military drill in the EC. And when the annual Key Resolve and Full Legal Joint Military Exercises kick off next month, the swift dispatch of the U.S. forces and strategic assets to South Korea will be the focus of the drills. The Defense Ministry said the exercise will be like no other.
The joint military drills will be held on a larger scale, becoming the biggest ever.
An additional 5,700 U.S. troops and 45 more combat planes will be taking part in the drills, along with the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS John C. Stennis strike group. The pressure on North Korea is expected to peak when the 4 strategic weapons are deployed to South Korea in the coming weeks. Connie Kim, Arirang News. Vice ministers of South Korea and China met in Seoul today
for strategic talks to discuss ways to deal with North Korea's latest provocations. But the two countries do not see eye to eye on a possible deployment of U.S.'s sophisticated missile defense system on the Korean peninsula. In fact, Beijing's vice minister made clear that China stands firmly opposed to the idea. Kwon So-ah reports from the nation's Foreign Affairs Ministry.